Hey everybody, so Jamboards you could definitely say are my jam. There's a lot that you could do with them. I have a couple tutorial videos that show you how to use them for digital notebooks, how to kind of set them up, and then also math manipulatives. They are by far a really neat feature of Google Suites. They are fairly new, and it's something that I typically don't see very often. This kind of would be similar to having students share their answers with whiteboards in the classroom. This just is kind of a virtual way to do that. The best way that I can kind of explain this is it's like a big giant cork board, and students are able to post different things on there in its simplest form. And then in its more advanced form, it can be used to create virtual games for students, daily temperature checks, math number talks, even math manipulatives, some self-assessments, and some really cool just learning activities. So I want to show you a couple different ways that you can use Jamboards. So the first one we kind of talked about is that self-assessment. This is an example of one, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. How are you feeling? Your students would all have a name on here, and they can move their name under the column of where they're feeling based off of the lesson or even emotionally for that day. It's really changeable and easy to align to whatever you're using. There are also some other ones like Fraction Battle, which is a game that students would play. They would create two different fractions, and then they are figuring out which fraction is bigger or smaller or equal to, things of that sort, and then they would get points. I do also want to show you the sample lesson plan that I included. It is meant for a 5th grade classroom looking at reading, discussing character development. It kind of goes into a little bit more detail, but basically we're talking about how characters change throughout a story. So one of the fun activities I like to do in my classroom is a Jamboard called Guess Who. This is actually a great resource that I found online a while ago. Students can play anonymously, which is what you saw there, or they can sign in with their Google account, and you'll actually see their names. So this has 20 different pages, so each student would get a page. And I start off typically filling this in about one of our characters and having the students guess it. And then after we complete our reading for that day, the students would then pick a character themselves and create one of these to share with the class. And it's a really fun activity. Students really get involved, and I feel like it really deepens their understanding of character development because they have to go back and really think about those character traits and what the character went through in order to be able to accurately describe who they are for people to guess. So that's a little bit more on Jamboard. It is a fantastic resource that I would recommend to just about anybody. It again has so many different resources out there, so it's not something that teachers have to go out and reinvent and recreate all of these new things. There are so many templates available online that you just have to copy into your own Google Drive. So you're still able to have these fun, engaging lessons with students virtually or even in the regular classroom without having to go through the extra work of creating all of these things. So that's all I have on Jamboards. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions.